This is Fred Rutan. I'm going to show you how I do kombucha, and it's just some of the things that I use. I'm going to try this jar for the first time. This is a 2.5 gallon jar. You can get them at Walmart. I have a picture of where you find them and everything at Walmart. I use organic, 100% organic green tea. I got this on Amazon. Someday I'm going to start using the loose tea. I think it's probably a little easier. This is the granulated sugar that I use. It's organic cane sugar. There's my cup. And this is my container that I boil the tea in. I decided to come outside today because it's a good day for taking pictures. So anyway, so we'll get started here in just a moment. The first thing I'm going to do is put, I don't know, probably 2 quarts of water in here and boil it. And then when it hits a boil, I'll come back on the camera. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of boiling in there. I don't want it to come to a full rolling boil, so I'm going to turn the heat off now. I have unpackaged the green tea. I have pulled the string out the top. This particular ones, the strings come loose all the time inside the pot, so I don't want strings in my kombucha. It's stringy enough. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm using 8 per gallon. I'm gonna have 2 gallons, probably 2.5 gallons. I'll fill it as high as I can. So I'm gonna put all these in here. So I'm gonna put like 4, 8, 12, 16, then I'll add another 2 for the over 2 gallons bit, and then I let it steep. It's not boiling now, but it's certainly below boiling temperature. I'm just gonna let it steep for about, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 minutes, and I'm not gonna stir it much. I'm just gonna let it steep. If you mess with these things too much, you get a lot of tea particles in the mix, and you certainly can strain them out without any trouble. I have had to do that from time to time, but I prefer just not to mess with them. I might stir them. I use one of these little salad deals to kind of stir it gently a little bit. And when I take them out, I'll use that to take them out, but I'll be very, very gentle about it. So let's wait and let it steep a little bit, then I'll be back. Okay, it's been about 4 or 5 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and take the tea out of the mix. So what I do is I pick it up, get as many as I can, pick it up very gently. I don't want to really be squeezing it at all, because that just puts particles in the mix. I don't really want to strain this batch. You can squeeze it as hard as you want, but you're going to have to strain it when you put it in the... you don't have to. Anybody can. A lot of people do all kinds of things. You're going to strain it in the end anyway, so it probably doesn't make all that much difference. But I'm just pretty gentle with them. These bags aren't that strong. So it looks like it's pretty good. I don't see any particles in there. Importantly, no strings. So I'm going to put 2.5 cups of sugar. Because it's going to ultimately end up with, that's one. It's going to ultimately end up with, that looks like about 2. Looks like about half. It's going to ultimately end up in 2.5 gallons. So as you see here, I just put a couple quarts in here to do this because I'll fill the other rest of the bottle with cooler water. One of the problems that I found with kombucha when I would boil the whole part of it and add it to it, like when I did a gallon, I would boil a gallon, heat it up, do all this to it, and then I had to let it cool for a long time. So what I do now is I just use a smaller amount to make the concentrated green tea, and then I pour it into the cooler water in the bottle in the kombucha brewer. That way I don't have to cool the brew down before I can add the SCOBY. So anyway, we'll let it go here until all the sugar is dissolved, and I'll prepare the kombucha brewery next. Okay, this is the brewing bottle that I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do with this, I know it's clean because I've already washed it out. This is a stainless steel tap. It's not the tap that came with the bottle. The tap that came with the bottle looks pretty good. I don't know, but I don't think it's necessarily safe enough to use with the acid of the kombucha. So I replaced this with a stainless steel. You can buy them on Amazon, and if you wish, you can I can give you the brand name to look for on Amazon as well. So this is the water I chose to use this time. It's just great values Walmart spring water. I prefer spring water because first you must never forget, here I'll dump that out. You must never forget, even if you think the bottle is clean, you washed it real good, add distilled vinegar. There are 2 reasons to add the distilled vinegar in my thinking. Number one is that it cleans the bottle, it sterilizes it. Basically, nothing. The bad germs aren't going to live in it. And I'll empty it out now. And if you notice, there's always going to be a little bit in there. There's going to be a little bit in there. Not very much. But I tell you, that little bit will give it a jump start like you won't believe. So that's the reason that there's 2 reasons that I wash it out with white vinegar all the time. So I don't want to pour hot water in this. Oops, looks like I lost a ring. Probably not sterile. But I can tell you. Let me look at this, and we'll look at this and see how we're doing with the sugar dissolving. Should be about dissolved. Let's see, I can look at it. Oh, there's still a little bit in there. So I'll wash it away here. Want to make sure the sugar is all dissolved. I thought it should have been dissolved by now, but this is a bigger batch, so there's more sugar in it, so it looks like it's taking a little longer to dissolve. Actually, I see a few particles in there, so I am going to strain this this batch. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have all of the sugar dissolved. Remember, for the final product, this is going to be 1 cup of sugar to 1 gallon of liquid kombucha culture. So I have 2 cups of sugar in this, 2.5 cups of sugar. This is going to be 2.5 cups. So I poured some water in here because I don't want to pour hot water in here. In the hot water, I have tea and I have sugar. That's all you need. Nothing more. I'm going to strain it. I have a little strainer here. It's a fine strainer. The only one I could be able to find at this little fine mesh was at Walmart. It was fairly expensive, like $4 or $5. But the bigger meshes I don't think are good enough. Anyway, so I saw some particles in here, so I'm going to go ahead and strain it. And so I'm just pouring it into here. I'm pouring it into the cooler water so that I'm not going to have any breakage of the glass or anything. And you see, if you look and see in here, there is, no matter how careful I was, there's some green tea leaves in there. And so I don't like that, but I suppose it doesn't make an amazing amount of difference. So let me add the water up to where I want it. I think I'll go about right here, because I'm going to remember I have to put 2 cups of culture into this as well, or 1.5 cups would probably be okay. Okay, the gallon jug on the right is my old, has my SCOBY in it, and it's the old kombucha that I've already bottled up a secondary ferment. So what we need to do, I saved some of this, as you can see, because you always have to pay it forward. You have to add some of your old kombucha, unflavored kombucha, into the new batch. So I'll put a couple cups if I have it here. I'm going to take off the bottom, and that's why I like about the spouts, is because you can take your kombucha off of the bottom where it has more yeast, more of the culture, and everything. Yo! Boy, that's not smart. Okay, so that's 1 cup. Let's see what I can get out of this. I see I'm going to have plenty. So that's going to be about 2 cups. And this was a real good batch I'm taking this from. So, so now this is inoculated. You're ready to put the SCOBY in. So I'll reach in here with the tongs. I don't like touching this stuff personally, because anything you do to this, you have a potential to kill the SCOBY. So you try to handle it as careful as you can. So this is the gallon size SCOBY. Well, that's not good. So I am going to put it back in here and wash it off. I think it's okay because everything here is clean. But there it goes. So I'm going to put this SCOBY in here. Just let it sit. It's probably going to sink to the bottom. And I think that perhaps, as you see, it's going to sink to the bottom. And I think that that's a big enough SCOBY for this container. It should form a SCOBY pretty quickly. I like to use coffee filters for the top. So I'll put it over the top, and I'll put a, this is always a problem for me. Never have been able to figure out how to do it really good. You just need to get a good seal on this. So I have devised other ways to do it, but I don't have a lid for this one. When I decided I was going to use the original lid and cut holes in it to let the air in and out, and I destroyed it. So I don't have a lid this size to do anything. But that's it right there. Now the ideal temperature is from 75 to 80. I have a heater that I use. Let me show you. Okay, this is a heater that I use. Okay, you can buy them on Amazon, and you just put them around the jar and do this. Then you can put an aquarium thermometer on it, or not. Now what I've found is that this is really way too hot. You will kill your kombucha if you put it. If I would leave it like that, I'd be 100+ degrees quickly. So what I do is I've made an adjustable system. I've made an adjustable system to where I wrap it around 2 bottles like this. Just put it like this. And that way you can see that you can leave any portion you want on the bottle by just simply turning it so that you end up with more of the heater on the bottle. And so I've decided to get away from aquarium thermometers because they're absolutely hard to read. I just can't read them. So I'm going to get a little thermometer with an outdoor probe on the outside and just tape it to here. Then I'll have a accurate thermometer to see where I am with this. If it tends to be a little cool, then I'll just twist this like this and put more this on the jar, and I'll kind of keep it adjusted like that. Like this is a cool day today, so I'd probably adjust it a little more to keep it a little warmer. The key is 75 to 80 is the best. If you keep it within those temperatures, you'll have a SCOBY here in 2 days. It's really hot, especially when you have that little teeny bit of white vinegar in there. It just puts it in hyperdrive. So hopefully that helps, and you see how easy it is. You ought to get a book to look and see what the problem with the SCOBYs are. You can see the funguses and the mold that can go wrong with the SCOBYs. That happened one time, and that was only because my brother did the washing. I think he didn't wash the bottle very good, and it probably had some food in it. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with that one. I've never had any other problems with this. Sometimes they take longer, sometimes they take shorter. You can get a little straw and put in here and kind of suck on it and see until it gets the right tartness for you. I like it a little tart before I go to the secondary ferment. And so that's a matter of preference. If you like a little sweeter, you know, this is a 2.5 gallon. I'd say 2 weeks before it's probably going to be ready at any rate. So anyway, let me show you the secondary ferment that I had just put up. Okay, this is a secondary ferment that I just did a couple days ago. I put mint leaves in there after washing them off pretty carefully, and I put 100% non-reconstituted organic Concord juice. I put, I don't know, a couple ounces of Concord juice in there, and then this mint is chocolate mint. So after another couple of days, I'll decant it and put it into little bottles and put it in the fridge, and it's done. Then I can begin drinking it and stuff. I can tell there's already a lot of pressure on this, so it's getting a good fizz. So that's good. I hope I get some good minty flavor. So that will be nice. So anyway, I hope this helps you, and you can see that it's not a really complicated process. There are probably many other ways of doing this. A lot of people, when it's done, they drink straight kombucha. They don't even bother to flavor it. That's okay. I like a little flavor in mine. So all you have to do is put it in these kind of jars, sit it on the counter, not in the refrigerator, but on the counter, and for 3, 4, maybe 5 days, and you have a wonderfully, I hope, flavored kombucha. So anyway, I hope that helps you, and I hope our club does well. It'd be nice to someday get together and sample some of the kombucha we make. And certainly, if any of you have any questions, keep in mind there's a lot of people on the site that are a lot more experienced than I am. I just do it simply. Some people actually flavor the kombucha before, during the ferment. I haven't got that brave yet, but I guess there are ways to do that. But this works well for me, and so if it works well for me, I'll probably just keep doing it this way. So happy kombuchaing.